P2B can only win maybe in Anambra because he is a homeboy. I'm quoting him now. But that is unfortunate for him. Because if you see the reception will be hard in Edo State, you will know that this man campaign is, in fact, is something that should be given attention. And again, the fact that Obi, and let me say it here, he's leading the campaign. When I'm talking about Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku, Kwankwaso, this is a man who, in the course of his campaign, has been on air, has been on land, water, everywhere. We want to talk about it. And we see him, we've been able to go to abroad, talk to American community there, go to ravaged communities who are suffering flood disaster effect. We've seen all these things, so they are in the optics. So I think Peter Obi is even doing well by not even focusing on what Soludo is saying. As far as Soludo has never established any prima facie case against him as it may have to do with corruption, because James Achebe reminds us, never kill a man who said nothing.
All right, Barrister, I also wanted to look at this statement that was in one of the national dailies, one of Soludo's reasons. He says that Soludo said that the LP candidate was playing a game with his election bid, adding that Obi did not have the necessary structure in place to win the presidency of the Labour Party platform.
Soludo was sounding like a broken record. He was sounding like the candidate of the APC, because that was what actually caused the problem. If you followed, mind you, like I said, I'm a member of PDP, but I would say things that are factual the way they are. If you follow the antecedents of P2B during this his presidential bid, any person who has come out to attack P2B has either had anarchy or unwittingly furthered the campaign of P2B. It was when the APC mocked P2B that he had no structure. That was the day the structure created itself for him. In fairness to him, yes, then he had no structure. But he came out and said, my structure would be the students who are at home and not in school, who are not happy with the system, the lecturers who are not being paid, those people whose relations have been brutally murdered by killer headsmen. He started itemizing them. And indeed, all these facets of grievances came together, met mentally. There wasn't even physical meeting. They met mentally, they had a common goal, and they are pursuing it. And overnight, a structure was created for P2B by the opposition. You go to Reverend Father Mbaka, you saw how he also ended up his own prophesying career. And he has been consigned now, as it were, to the monastery, where the church has asked him to go and do some
penance.
Sober reflection, so that he will mind the way he talks. So every person who has come out to frontally attack him has had that problem. I wouldn't be surprised if after now Soludo we begin to witness his own anarchy in line with what others had suffered. Furthermore, I think that what Soludo is saying, I think he's a show boy. He likes to be in limelight, having attention all around him, like the likes of Keyamo. So his comments are, in my own humble opinion, diversionary. When he started attacking P2B, people who were on ground suddenly remembered that Soludo has not really been doing much in Anambra since he came in. And they now started getting out the rot, juxtaposing his own failures with even the successes recorded by Willie Obiano. Not even to talk of, they are not even comparing him with Peter Obi. They are comparing him with Willie Obiano and showing that he's a failure so far. He has not really delivered on the expectations of the people. That is the truth of it. The Anambra people had expected more from Soludo before now. Rather than face what he's supposed to be doing, rather than try to meet the needs of the electorate that midwifed him into office, he is busy chasing shadow. What is his business? He's not, like you rightly said, sir. He's not contesting for
the
presidency. What is his business there? He's not even contesting for any election. I think he just wants to, somebody, I think I saw that opinion somewhere, where somebody, one of these elite Igbo leaders, was saying that Soludo wants to arrogate to himself the leadership position of the Igbos. He doesn't want any person to get the presidency from Igbo extraction before he does. So he thinks the way of doing it is rubbish Peter Obi, so that Peter Obi wouldn't get it. Then eventually he himself will come and aspire to it and get it. No. That is.
All right. Before we go on break, comrade, I will also want you to look at this. Soludo further cited the attack on the Archbishop of Anglican Church of Nigeria, Enugu Ecclesiastical Province, Dr. Emmanuel Chukwuma, by Obi supporters, commonly known as Obedience. These are one of his reasons, and he also said that if Obi should have tyrants as followers, what will become of the Igbos in the near future?
Okay, I think I will always have this to say. When you say obedience, this is just an organic movement we are seeing for the first time, an unheard of thing in the Nigerian polity. Obi has never gone to pay anybody. This, mind you, this is the party you say does not have
any structure.
Offices, yes, across the 774 local government areas within the country. You also say they don't even have representatives at wards. In fact, the parties, we are talking about the reach of the party or the spread of the party before now. Now we are seeing people who are volunteering. Sometimes we should not make the mistake of tagging Nigerians wrongly. These are people, these are Nigerians who have volunteered to support Obi. They are not necessarily members of Labour Party.
Some are not even politicians.
They are not politicians. And bulk of them are people who participated in the NSAS protest, who are not happy, who are calling for a reform, a change. Some of them are also people who are jobless. Some of them are also students. Do you know the number of students INEC captured during the last CVR? 3 million. Out of the 9 million, 3 million are students. So imagine when they are going to vote, or even half of them are going to vote. You understand what that means? And then 76% of those captured were youth. It's an unheard of thing. So when you sit back and say Obi supporters, Obi is not even in control of his supporters. I saw a tweet. Yeah. That's the thing. I saw the tweet. People are angry.
One of them warned him.
Yes, you shouldn't even tell them how to
go about it.
Obi said Obi was even telling them. Yes, I understand your frustration. I understand your anger. I understand your resentment. I understand everything against the establishment. But I want you to. Then he said, no. Focus on your campaign. Leave us to do it. And that's
no.
You see, the thing about it is that most times, let me say this, we know that sometimes obedience, and we are hearing the word violence on social media platform. But most times you will see that people are also provoking Obi camp. You understand? And they have not even been able to come up with something tangible, whether he was found wanting abroad or for any reason or the other or home. But they've been able to come up with things that are inconsequential. So these other ones are also reacting. Mind you said before now he had no structures. And the structures have come. See, the essence of structure is to mobilize humans. That's the essence of structure.
Imagine what
just mobilize humans. So imagine what would have happened
campaign.
If
Obi suddenly wakes up
to
say that
they
will kill him. They have told him that if you try to say you are even that was when he was I think he tried to see Kwankwaso to be his deputy. They told him, if you try to step down, we will kill you. The movement is no longer about the.
And then again, I also have a little concern, and it's very important to make this interjection or this intervention before we go. You see, people should stop making mistake of seeing Obi as an Igbo candidate. They are Femi who are rooting for him. Are they Igbo? Do you know that the Nigerian Labour Congress, even though they may not have said it, and other unions, they are interested in Labour Party?
No. They are not interested in Labour Party. They are interested in Peter.
That is the thing. And Peter is representing the Labour Party. So when you look at these variables, you now ask yourself, is the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, is the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, are all of them pro-Igbo? They are not pro-Igbo.
Okay, our wonderful viewers. We'll be back shortly. Just stay where you are, keep watching Living TV. When we come back, we are going to look at the write-up and statement of Professor Fabian Osiji concerning this matter. And we're also going to look at some clips from other tribes like that of Edo and so on. Also what they have to say, and the Momo crowd will be commanded when he visited there. Stay tuned and don't go away.
Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Tell me, which way to go? Which way to go? Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there, and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh, sure. I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many, many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Green revolution is a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria so Nigeria won't die.
I'm happy you are still there watching Living Television, especially on our today's edition of Issues of the Moment. Thank you for being there. And right now we are going to continue. You know, our discussions there are still here. Today we are going to look at this statement related to Professor Fabian Osuji in reply of Soludo's essay concerning Peter Obi. And he says, I am thoroughly embarrassed about the level of hostility being exhibited by our brother and friend, Professor Charles Soludo, towards Peter Obi. He cannot claim to be self-made. People like us participated in making him. I was pro-chancellor and chairman of council at the University of Nigeria when his papers came for approval for professorship. I could have found reason to withhold or deny assent, but we put him out and praised his work that made President Obasanjo appoint him economic advisor without hesitation. 3 years later, three of us, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Obi Ezekwesili, and myself, we are attending a conference in Brussels when President Obasanjo called Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was finance minister, and asked for the nomination of governor of Central Bank. We gave a unanimous vote for Prof. Charles Soludo, Minister of Finance, Education, and Due Process. As Ndibu, we were proud to support our brother. He was not the sole candidate Obasanjo gave him the position. Everyone rejoiced. That was the power of Omunna. Years later, I cannot imagine the same person who benefited resoundingly from the support of Omunna being the one to pull down his own brother who is enjoying overwhelming support elsewhere. I am truly ashamed of Soludo, or I am truly ashamed of him. Ndibu should not allow him to get away with this. He should be made to withdraw all his damaging statements against Obi. There is still time for him to reverse himself in this matter. Ndibu must not allow him to get away with this. Professor Fabian Osuji made this counsel.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard that?
Yes. You see,
he said he was instrumental to his becoming the central bank governor and some other evils. And why must he attack?
Even the professor, from where he became.
When I spoke earlier, I told you that there is nothing like a self-made person.
Yeah, you said so.
It doesn't exist. Along the line, God would have used people at different points in time to help you. If those people didn't meet you at those points of need as determined by God to render assistance, you wouldn't have made it. This is a perfect example of the fact that no person can say he made it. No person can even become president on his own. People would have voted for you. Members of your campaign council would have worked. You cannot be in the 36 states and the FCT. At the same time, people will be there working for you. So there's nothing like, I won this election on my own. It's not possible. So the point we are still making is that it is most unfortunate for Soludo to have demeaned himself in this manner, ridiculed and rubbished himself in the process of trying to ridicule Peter Obi. I keep on reiterating that I am not a member of the Labour Party. I'm not.
Nor that of the Abga.
Nor that of Abga. However, I am a very proud Igbo man, and that should say volumes for me as a proud Igbo man. Yes, you can support the candidate of your own political party, but in so doing, you don't come down to hack your brother down, like comrades say, pull him down syndrome, to hack him down. Even those from our brothers from the southwest who are supporting Peter Obi, they are clear in their support. They are not attacking Tinubu.
Yes.
They are not trying to hack Tinubu down. They are simply saying, for X, Y, Z reasons, we feel that this person is the best at this point in time that will deliver, and so we are going for him. A lot of people from the north supporting him. They're not insulting their brothers, Atiku, and yes, they're not insulting them. They are not bringing them down. The attacks are coming from elsewhere, but they say, we think we've been through a lot as a people, as a nation, and we think that this is the person maybe God can use at this point in time to see us through. I am a firm believer in the will of God. I'm also a firm believer in the effort by man. Faith without works is dead. And so that means that man has to work and then leave the rest to God. If you recollect when Abiola stood for election, he was a Muslim.
Yeah.
He was from the southwest. But the southeast voted overwhelmingly for Abiola. In the north, they voted overwhelmingly for him. But the military boys had their own agenda and they truncated the June 12th mandate. So what Professor Fabian has said, I agree entirely. It's as if he read my own mind before writing that particular treatise of his. Every part of it is correct. Soludo should be called to order. He is at liberty to support the candidate of his choice. Yeah. But he cannot hack down. I'm against that hacking down or attempt to hack down his brother. I also admire Peter Obi's, will I say, calmness.
Degree of calmness.
Yes, over the entire matter. He's not even defending himself. His records are defending him, and then other people are speaking up in his favor. He has told his obedience that when people attack him, if it is a candidate, that they should allow him to respond candidate to candidate, and that's what he's doing. When a candidate comes for him, he goes for the candidate. But if it comes from another angle, they can respond. So in this one, he is not responding because Soludo is not contesting anything. I wonder why Soludo will be dragging himself into that particular situation. Right. So let him apologize to the Igbo people because he's attacking a fellow Igbo man. I'm not talking about party now. I'm not talking about political party, but in terms of trying to drag, this is the closest in how many decades that an Igbo man has come at taking a shot at the presidency. It's the closest.
All right, comrade, in Professor Fabian's write-up, he also said that Soludo should be made, that is, in the first place, he said he's ashamed of the man first, and he said he must come back to apologize, and then the Igbos will not keep quiet, and then he must come back to apologize, and that it's not too late for him to do that. Do you see Soludo doing such?
I don't see him doing such. Going from the language.
The history will wait for him one day.
Yeah, he even tried to absorb himself. He said
history
he will be
wait
waiting for the judgment
day.
of history in the future. Towards the end of the whole thing, he ended with a sentence that he'll be waiting for the judgment of history. And he said it. So I don't see him apologizing. Soludo has that air, you understand, of righteousness
and arrogance
in what he has done. He feels he owes nobody anything, that in fact he wasn't even interested in doing more than a 10 as a governor of Anambra State. But mind you, this is just politics. It won't be long. Another 4 years will be here. We will see whether he will come with this stone or not. But the most important thing to know is that this is just like paying money into the bank. He has deposited something and he will reap the interest. You understand?
If he has deposited
yes,
dollars,
that's the thing.
He will reap in dollars.
The most important thing is that he is, to me, to an extent, see, Soludo's emergence, like Council said, rightfully said, owed to the support of the people. It came from the people support. Even online, internet, everywhere. People rejected some of these political has-beens to say, we don't want you again, we've tested you before. And I have seen, when Soludo was when they were having their debate, I remember how he praised people to the high heavens, that he created jobs in Anambra, which declined.
Reeled out everything that he achieved.
Quoting the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics and the NBS. And I still remember the day, that same day, that he told Oba that he was behind the killings in Anambra State. Whereupon I said, if this thing were not to be a platform like this, would Soludo have substantiated his assertion? But that's by the way. So it tells you that yes, we are dealing with somebody who has that flair or who has that penchant for what? For things we are seeing now. Don't also for that certain persons are now going to the archives to draw out the history of his quarrel with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, with late Dora Akunyele. People are beginning to allude to those things. So to me, whether Soludo is controversial or not, next 4 years will determine. But for now, I am wishing him well, and I want him to do better than a next to nothing investment for Anambra. Remember, it won't be long. 4 years will be here. We'll read out everything. We'll tell him that Peter Obi came at a time, and I'm not waiting for Peter Obi, but he came at a time when backlog of salary owned by Timaroke Mbadinuju was so much. Peters went on strike for 9 months. There was no primary school in Anambra anywhere. This man came back, began to hand over schools to the mission or to the missionaries, and then again began the process of paying the salaries to the extent that we now see where education is in Anambra. We know that there are some challenges, you understand, in his administration. Mind you, twice impeached, twice reinstalled by the court. So he's never had it easy for him. So we will all wait and see how it plays out and how it pans out. But for now, I am not here to maybe call names or maybe accuse anybody. Peter Obi is right not to respond to Soludo. He has nothing to do with him. Soludo could be expressing his feeling because Obi is not in his party. Mind you also that Aga is also featuring an Igbo candidate, Umade, but that's by the way. So to me, as it was said, yes.
A candidate for governorship.
Presidential candidate.
Presidential.
Yes, Umade. I think I saw him on
Let me confess that I am not aware because that person has not made any impact at all.
They have.
I'm not aware.
So the most important thing is that
like our organic driver, I'm not aware.
Like Nnamdi said, history will vindicate the just.
All right, Council. Going by Professor Fabian on this comment and even reminding Soludo, how he assisted him, even becoming a professor in his professional laureate and even that of this CBN. And then, do you think this statement, the statement he made here, has gone to Obi and to Soludo, and if they Ohaneze Ndigbo, are they not supposed to have done something about this, calling him to order like Professor Fabian suggested?
Well, I think it's Chinua Achebe, Professor Chinua Achebe in Things Fall Apart, told us something that those whose palm kernels had been cracked for them by a benevolent chief should not forget to be humble and grateful. When you do certain things, the Ngwas have a saying, Agwaya osisi eji pia ya. You know, when a particular deity becomes too mischievous and stubborn and naughty, then they would remind it that you are but a figure, right? And it is that piece of wood at our father's backyard that we even use to carve you. That is exactly what Soludo has done to himself. As an owl, he has become mischievous and naughty. And people are beginning to remind him that it was that emu tree at our father's backyard that we cut down and used it to carve you.
Wait on you.
Professor Fabian is just, I can assure you, is just maybe the first among the very prominent voices that would come at Soludo. You talked about Ohaneze and Igbo. You know that it is not usually easy to get them together, but I would want to believe that if this thing does not stop but continues along the way it is going, then that at a point in time, not too long from now, Ohaneze would be in a position to make a statement and then we would actually know their mind.
Yeah.
Okay. However, well-meaning Igbos of different political leanings have continued to express displeasure against what Soludo did. That's where we are at the moment.
Okay, comrade, shortly before we look at a video clip of Soludo's visit to Edo State.
Soludo or Peter?
Soludo is not contested.
Sorry.
Don't give him.
Shortly before we look at the clip, the video clip of Peter B's visit to Edo State, I will want you to look at this. When we talk about Ohaneze, Ndigo, I think it is actually talking about the entire Igbos. And then if we are talking about Ohaneze Ndigo, who in one of their write-ups have adopted P2B as the sole candidate for the Igbos, how come this man who is also an Igbo, how come he's still attacking P2B?
You say, Chinua Achebe, God bless him, it's like we are talking about Achebe today. Yes, council has talked about Achebe. And I have also said, he said, never kill a man who said nothing. For those who are saying, why you should be silent? But Achebe said, never kill a man who said nothing. You say, Chinua Achebe in his wisdom, he said something and also not. When you say, the question you ask now is, what Ohaneze did. Now see, Achebe said, the problem of the Igbo is rugged individualism. Sometimes, rugged individualism. Lack of building synergy. You understand what I'm saying now? And that is what Soludo to an extent may be exhibiting individual ruggedness. You see, it does not amount to much, and it will not even do you any credit. The speed with which I read that article, I had wanted to hear that Obi looted money or misused fund or did something or misinvested. You understand? But I never saw anything of that. He never even denied the figures put out. He acknowledged the figures to an extent. But since this is also part one, we don't know whether it will see part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, then to whatever. But the thing is that Ohaneze Ndigo is, as they say, apex socio-cultural group of the Igbo. And I think it replaced the Igbo State Union, which established my school in Aba, 1948, like Igbo National High School. The groundwork, the land ceremony by Namtazikiwe. But the thing is that Ohaneze had lacked the powers to mobilize and galvanize the Igbo like the Igbo State Union did in the 1940s, when we began to have the Kodakbo, the state, the progressive unions everywhere in Nigeria, through which the concept of Omonawike thrived. But unfortunately, the Igbo State Union was also banished from existence by no other person than Agui Ironsi when he took over. I think Ohaneze will have a lot on his hands in a situation like this, but I do not think it is beyond them to call Soludo to order, whether or not he is issuing apology, but to tell him stop and desist from further smearing or trying to smear the image of your brother. You understand? Because there is this saying that among the Igbo, And there is that saying again too that is worst. Is worst than anyone you can think of.
Household envy.
Yes. So I think it's what our organization should be doing now. Try to drive about conversation, negotiation that brings Soludo back.
We are going to watch this. We are going to watch this video clip. It is a visit of P2B's rally or campaign to Edo State, and one of the young men, an indigenous of Edo State, had something to say. And let us use it to see if P2B should gain this level of support or degree of support outside his comfort zone. What will his brothers do? Let us look at this. Let us watch this video clip.